Um, of course, if you could tell by the title, we are covering NXT and what happened on the events this past Tuesday night. So let's dive right in. If anybody remember, I think I did a little small shoot. I didn't get a chance to do a live last week for this one particularly, but last week Oba Femi had went ahead and vacated the championship right after he Deion Slater. When he defended his title against Deion Slater. Um, not a was the shocked by the move. Not shocked by him wanting to step up per se, but happy for him that he's wanting to become a part of the main roster. I feel like it was about time for the main three of NXT to finally um move up, but they absolutely. I feel like he kind of had maybe like another match or two or a month or two in NXT, probably. So I wanted to see him and Tony D'Angelo. Um, Probably run it back since Tony was the last person to take besides Ricky Saints take the belt off of him per se. So whole nother reason at that point. But he ended up making a big move. Runs we waiting to see where he's going to go as far as Raw or SmackDown. But as far as the concern, Ava is was going had announced tonight that there will be a new champion crowned on February 4th. There will be a six-man ladder match per se. So I'm believing that leading up until that point. So I'm pretty sure we'll have about 2 or 3 weeks until that event happens. So they're gonna probably do a season of qualifying matches per se. So it'll be interesting to see, a bunch of people because it was a different amount of superstars coming out that wanted to step up and be champions. So this is one of the better opportunities I feel like that can get the NXT championship more hype. I've been trying to do my damnedest to keep up with most of that, but things are like how it is. But NXT is definitely the next way up. Um, so of course we're gonna see a few of competitors. I don't know. A few competitors go ahead. I think it was the if I'm not mistaken, it was Joe Henry against Dion Lennox in a no DQ match. So, and that's where I'm going to leave that, but that's going to be later on the matchup after that. So, I believe the first match they had, it was Stacks versus Shiloh Hill, defending his championship against Shiloh. Again, Shiloh's a very new superstar that's been added to the roster. Not sure if anybody's like too familiar with him. Again, I've been trying to keep up with all of the recruiting stars and everybody that's stepping up more so. It's a lot transitional pieces that are actually going up onto the roster and obviously making an impact for themselves. But yeah, but Shiloh end up coming short against Stacks because there was outside interference. Um, Again, I am barely getting used to some of these superstars and everything and their name aspects. It's a very different genre for me. I'm still picking up the pieces. Like I said, Shiloh's very new as far as Stacks is concerned. He's very new. When I was still watching NXT, preferably it was still Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era and Keith Lee. So it's been a very different intake look at now. Um, I am familiar with some superstars. Like Kalani Jordan's been one of the names that's always been thrown into the mix, and I've always heard her. I remember when she was the face before turned heel. So Kalani had faced Lola Vice. Lola Vice I've been also keeping up with as well. As far as with her, as far as with his rivalry with gosh, sorry. As far as with his rivalry with Deion Lennox, not Deion Lennox, but gosh, but yeah. So it's been like I said, it's been really really new to me, like covering NXT for the most part. But yeah, Kalani Jordan, I'm sorry, because she had a rivalry with uh Joy Jordan Grace. She's had one with a various amount of superstars when she turned heel, and then when the TNA invasion had came along. Well, I couldn't say it was an invasion when it was like a cross brand promotion per se that they were doing with each other, which I kind of end up liking anyway because I feel like with this with TNA superstars, such as even like Joe Henry per se. He's one of the ones that've grown on me as well. I'm sorry, this his entrance and everything really has caught captivated me at this point. So, but we had that shot. Like I said, Shiloh had lost. Lola Vice actually came through with the win with the spinning back fist. Kalani Jordan unfortunately came up short. Again, she was doing the hill path. So of course, with the hill path, it comes with trickery and deception sometimes. But it didn't end up well. But Lola Vice came through with the win. And then we had Keegan, I think Keegan Jordan. Well, I'm sorry. We had the return of Miss Parker, and Lord knows, I tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you on the live. I'll risk it all for Miss Parker, but she came back, displayed like her emphatic statement of just showing that she's back against Kian Gray, and I could see them having like a match, or I could see them actually having a match next week. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would be promoted at that point. And going over to my next heel that's on NXT at this point now, All Ego Ethan Page, our television champion. He's absolutely for me has been absolutely decent. I couldn't say anything like less or more about him, but he's grown well. He's been wanting to compete within the ladder match. Ava didn't really granted him that because she was going to make him vacate the title. So unfortunately, he didn't want to go ahead and vacate it in order to have a shot at the NXT champion again. Ethan Page has been a former NXT champion. Um, a lot of these guys, they when they come over from like a different promotion or they just didn't get over, NXT normally is the household to build up. If you've seen, a lot of superstars had took that journey per se, rather Drew McIntyre or Bobby Roode is always was a TNA household name. So when he came over to WWE, it was just a simple kind of like simple transition, but he was like already older at that point. Him and Joe Henry, unfortunately, they're at that elder realm. Not to say that they don't got it, but their time window is going to have a short stance. So that's just the only thing at this point. More so is that I'm wishing that we could see uh, definite more prominent stars. I'm gonna talk about Joe Henry later on because there is I believe there's one more matchup that I'm forgetting about on here, but we do have I forgot her name is Keegan Gray. Keegan Gray, unfortunately, she had um, made an appearance, and there is absolutely I can't say anything else more um, about because the NXT Women's Division has absolutely been phenomenal for me per se. I ain't gonna say phenomenal, but it's been different. It's been decent. It's been very decent. It's been a fair showing. I do like the camera time, the angle time that they're more portraying on the women somewhat now at this point, but NXT has definitely been showcasing a lot. I definitely feel more on the showmanship side with Shawn Michaels directing everything. I feel like it has gone to a different trajectory. So now this point it's different. It's definitely different. Um for me on one end. But again, uh and we're gonna go to, the main event of the night, which the I think first of the six qualifying matches, Joe Henry Dion versus Dion Lennox. Dion Lennox was another one of the breakout stars in 2025. I didn't know too much about him, but after really seeing him more so, I think I seen one of his prior matchups, and I believe it was the last match that had featured Javon Evans in the Soul Survivor matchup. I kind of had Deion Lennox with that, but Javon Evans is doing what he do best. That kid got bounced, and like I said, Deion Lennox is definitely a superstar in the making. I can't tell you on the intangibles of what more he could need, but I'm pretty sure everybody could use an upgrade every now and then. So again, Deion Lennox was about to hit Joe Henry with the steel chair, and Tony D'Angelo, one of the few people I probably will say multiple times on my live streams, but Tony D'Angelo ended up showing up, hitting Deion Lennox with a steel chair to the back and then a emphatic choke slam, which people thought that it was just going to be a one and done thing. He ended up shaking, picking up Joe Henry, and then honestly giving him a choke slam and throwing him on top of Dion Lennox to get the win, which shocked a lot of people because nobody has understood why Tony D'Angelo has been doing what he's been doing. Ever since his return, once he took out Soul Survivor, Javon Evans, and then a few more people with random attacks. So I am interested to see where Tony D'Angelo goes now. Again, I had wanted to see him and Oba run it back. Not sure if we're gonna get that, but again, never say never. Again, I am a somewhat of a Tony D'Angelo fan. I was big fan of the family aspect. So it is different to see him now more so without that aspect. Without that, and then now it's like I said, it's different. It's great to see him now on his own. So now we go ahead and get to see the superstar that is. So hopefully, like I said, within the due time frame, we could see. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the next 6 months or so, but maybe we can end up seeing Tony D'Angelo as NXT champion. Never know, never shoot. But again, every decision is going to be going on down the line. There is a fresh new opening. And again, February 4th, we're going to find out who's going to be the NXT champion at on a six-man ladder match. So again, there's a lot of prominent to be there. Again, title may be vacated now, but even if so, I feel like NXT has been built up to where a guy doesn't have to uh, guy or person doesn't have to hold the belt because they're already showcasing you could say aura rather any other word per se, but once they have already built themselves up as a self-made superstar, sometimes just even for the aspect of them being champion doesn't even need to be like we've seen Javon Evans and we knew Javon Evans was NXT and that kid got bounced. So that's where just the one example. Trick was a very great example, but um, depending on how you like it or love it, Trick was good with the title on. So again, I'm going to revamp and just say that NXT was good for the most part. For me watching the highlights, I could say it was a Four out of five per se. Again, I am not the biggest TNA ongoing watcher, but I will catch it when I can. But like I said, they're doing more coverage on this now. I'm going to start covering it more frequently, week by week. And like I said, you will have more insight with me as I'm still keeping up with this and that, with still keeping up with it. And then also make sure when y'all do like and subscribe. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put up a poll in the community and just see how we will fare if we would also like to be covering AEW as well. But don't worry. And like I said, we'll be having more live sessions going on. And again, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and tune in for more live, more weekly WWE topic recaps. And we'll be having more of these, like I said, in the future. So please making sure you hit the like and notification button, and I will get back with y'all another time frame. So take it easy, everyone.